When oil prices spiked 40% in 2022, why did some companies thrive while others struggled? The answer lies in understanding supply elasticity, a critical concept that separates successful managers from the rest. Welcome to Chapter 4 of Managerial Economics: Supply, Law of Supply, and Elasticity. By the end of this comprehensive guide, you'll master 5 critical skills that will transform your managerial decision-making. First, you'll define supply and distinguish it from simple production. Second, analyze the law of supply and its economic rationale. Third, calculate price elasticity of supply. Fourth, evaluate measurement methods. And fifth, identify key determinants to enhance supply flexibility. These aren't just academic concepts, they're the tools that will give you a competitive edge in today's dynamic business environment. While demand represents consumers, supply represents producers. But supply is far more complex than simply having inventory on hand. Supply is the functional relationship showing various quantities of a commodity that producers are willing and able to place on the market per unit of time at different prices, ceteris paribus. 2 critical components define supply: willingness, driven by profit motive, and ability, determined by production capacity and resources. Remember, supply is a flow concept measured over time, cars per day, wheat per season, not a static inventory number. Supply isn't a single quantity, but an entire schedule mapping different quantities offered at various potential market prices. Consider our boutique bakery planning Saturday morning croissant production. The head baker knows their costs and formulates a supply schedule. At $60 per croissant, covering premium ingredients and skilled labor, they'll produce 800 units. At $45, the lower margin means only 400 units are profitable. This price-quantity mapping is their supply schedule, the foundation of strategic production planning. The relationship between price and quantity supplied follows a predictable pattern, formalized as the law of supply by Alfred Marshall in 1890. Other things remaining constant, the quantity supplied varies directly with price. Higher prices incentivize greater production. The economic logic is clear. Firms face rising marginal costs. The first units are cheap to produce, but each additional unit requires more expensive resources: overtime wages, older machinery, costlier materials. Higher market prices provide the financial incentive to climb this marginal cost ladder, making previously unprofitable units worth producing. When crude oil prices jumped 8% due to geopolitical tensions, ONGC responded immediately. They authorized overtime for drilling crews and reactivated marginal wells only profitable at higher prices. This is the law of supply in action. This represents movement along their existing supply curve, not a shift of the entire curve. The law of supply tells us direction, but elasticity tells us magnitude. How much does quantity supplied respond to price changes? Price elasticity of supply equals percentage change in quantity supplied divided by percentage change in price. It's a pure number measuring responsiveness. Time horizon is crucial. In the market period, supply is fixed. Today's fish catch cannot change. Short run allows variable input adjustments. Long run permits complete restructuring. Elasticity progresses from nearly zero in the market period to modest in the short run to high in the long run as all factors become variable. Supply can be perfectly inelastic when S equals 0, inelastic when less than 1, unit elastic at exactly 1, elastic when greater than 1, or perfectly elastic approaching infinity. Understanding your product's elasticity class is critical for pricing strategy, risk management, and competitive positioning. Smart managers actively enhance their supply elasticity through strategic capacity cushions, maintaining spare capacity for rapid response. Deep supply chain partnerships through vendor-managed inventory and joint planning effectively share elasticity across the entire network. To apply elasticity concepts, managers need practical measurement methods. The choice depends on available data, required precision, and decision context. 3 primary methods serve different needs: point elasticity for precise calculations, arc elasticity for broader ranges, and regression analysis for comprehensive modeling. Point elasticity uses calculus, measuring elasticity at a specific point on the supply curve. It's mathematically precise but requires continuous data and calculus knowledge. The slope of the tangent line at any point, combined with the price-quantity ratio, gives us precise elasticity at that specific market condition. Arc elasticity measures responsiveness between 2 points, using average values to avoid bias. It's practical for real-world discrete changes. By using midpoint averages, arc elasticity provides consistent results regardless of whether price increases or decreases. Regression analysis handles multiple variables simultaneously, controlling for factors like input costs, technology, and seasonal effects. The coefficient on price in a log-log regression directly gives us elasticity while controlling for other supply determinants. Pro tip: always align your data's time bucket with your decision cadence. Daily promotions need daily data. 5-year expansion plans need annual models. What makes one firm's supply highly elastic while another's is rigid? 5 key determinants shape supply responsiveness, many influenced by strategic decisions. Time period, input availability, technology flexibility, storage capacity, and regulatory environment all interact to determine your supply elasticity. Input availability is crucial. Firms dependent on rare materials or single suppliers face rigid supply. Those with diversified, abundant inputs enjoy flexibility. Global sourcing networks and supplier diversification directly translate into higher supply elasticity and competitive advantage. Technology flexibility is transformative. Modular, multi-purpose equipment enables rapid production adjustments, while specialized machinery creates rigidity. Storage capacity acts as a buffer. High storage capability allows firms to build inventory during low-demand periods and release it when prices rise. Regulatory environment significantly impacts elasticity. Heavy licensing requirements, environmental permits, and bureaucratic hurdles reduce supply responsiveness. Deregulated industries typically exhibit higher supply elasticity, enabling faster market responses and more dynamic competition. Consider a solar panel manufacturer. Global polysilicon markets, automated modular factories, and minimal licensing create high elasticity, as greater than 1.5. When governments announce generous feed-in tariffs, this firm leverages high elasticity to ramp up 40% within 6 months, capturing outsized market share while rigid competitors fall behind. Why does a SaaS firm exhibit higher long-run elasticity than a cement plant? 3 determinants explain this difference clearly. SaaS leverages scalable cloud technology, abundant digital inputs, and minimal regulation. Cement requires specialized equipment, limited raw materials, and heavy environmental permits. An agricultural economist estimates short-run banana supply elasticity at 0.3. A cyclone threatens to raise prices 20% in affected regions. Using our elasticity formula, 20% price increase times 0.3. Elasticity equals 6% quantity increase from unaffected farmers. This modest supply response means significant price increases and higher farmer revenues in the short run, demonstrating low agricultural elasticity. A fast fashion company wants to compete with Zara. How can they increase supply elasticity? 3 strategic recommendations emerge. First, establish flexible manufacturing partnerships with multiple suppliers. Second, implement modular design systems for rapid customization. Third, deploy predictive analytics for demand forecasting. This 6-month playbook transforms supply rigidity into competitive advantage, enabling rapid response to fashion trends. We've built a comprehensive model of market supply. From basic definitions to strategic applications, you now possess the tools for supply-side excellence. Supply meaning established the foundation. The law of supply revealed the price-quantity relationship. Elasticity quantified responsiveness. Measurement methods provided practical tools. Most importantly, understanding elasticity determinants reveals how firms can actively build supply-side agility for sustainable competitive advantage. You're no longer passive price takers. You can strategically invest in technology, capacity, and partnerships to enhance your supply responsiveness. The next time market conditions shift, you'll be ready. You understand not just what supply is, but how to measure it, predict it, and strategically enhance it. These aren't just academic concepts. They're your competitive weapons for building more agile, resilient, and profitable enterprises. Master supply elasticity, and you master the producer side of market dynamics. Your strategic advantage starts now.